Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. And we are back another Thursday here at Realm News, part 2 with Mint Refresh. And how are you doing, Mint Refresh?
I'm doing all right. We've been chatting a lot between episodes because we just have so much to talk about. So
Yes, we
that's
do.
fun.
That's look out for a little bit of bonus content coming, like about 5 minutes or 7 minutes of that, actually, my friends. And so we're going to pick up kind of from where we left off last week, which was we were getting to know. We learned that you are a programmer, that you for your profession in real life, and that as a Minecrafter, you develop resource packs and data packs, and that you're also a Minecraft content creator that puts videos out on YouTube. And folks, all that will be in the show description. All those links where you can find Mint Refresh's work and all that other exciting stuff that I just said. So I wanted to get back into it and just ask you, how would you describe your content and creations to someone who has never seen your work before?
So that's a definitely a good question. I would say that the goal of most of my content is to make Minecraft feel more like a living, breathing, complex world and less like an artificial video game, which is definitely maybe a strange statement, but like when we play Minecraft, we all imagine these worlds and stories that we create and portray. And what I want to do is smooth out some of those edges that there are, because like there's a lot of things in Minecraft that are very predictable that that some people definitely notice. I think some people maybe don't, especially like before it's maybe pointed out. But like when you are mining, like every diamond ore has the same repeating pattern on it.
Mm-hmm.
Every zombie looks the same. Every dandelion is a carbon copy. Like, and then there's things that don't follow like the same rules that other things do, or just don't make like complete sense for reasons of game design. And so that would be like copper armor doesn't oxidize. And then like for example, if you have like an apple or so like a bowl of soup, but you can't put it down on the table. But these are
Yeah.
all things that you would expect to happen because of how either how the game works, or because of, why can't you do that, like why can't I put an apple on my table?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it takes away from like I had the feeling of a real immersive world. And like there's so many different breeds and looks of animals in the real world, and there's so many things that a zombie might have in its pockets instead of just a carrot, a potato, or an iron ingot.
I love
and,
that.
and like maybe the pig that you see over there is muddy because it was playing in the dirt. Like the small details like that really can make the world feel like so much more real, because like Minecraft's a really cool and interesting universe. I think I'm sure we both agree on that.
Oh,
but
yes.
what I want to try and do with a lot of my packs is push it to that next level.
And I think that's what draws me to your work because, well, especially, I was going to ask you this a little bit later, but lately you've been posting like a baby mob once a day, like a new one, right?
Yeah, so that is for one of my packs. It's called Earth Animals, that
Nice.
adds mob variants to the game that were originally from Minecraft Earth. And so there was a limited amount that we have like easy access to creating variants for in Java Edition. But that is basically the idea of that. I also do more than just mob variants. I do want to put that out there now. But there's been a lot of mob variant stuff, especially with recently where they added the new baby models as well as the golden dandelion, which all like lends itself to stuff from Minecraft Earth and variants.
Yeah, it looks great. I have, and I know I've been critiquing the baby mob drop a lot, but your baby mobs have looked fantastic. And I'm looking here at your YouTube right now. You said the Minecraft Earth mobs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like your most popular video with 3.6 thousand views, right?
Oh, it might be. I can believe that. I know that video did really well, which is why I showed off the official version of that pack before. Like I actually, it's like it's right before
Yeah.
the Spring to Life drop came out, which is what allowed that pack to even be possible.
Yeah, it said 10 months ago. So yeah, right before it. And what I think I have this bookmarked here, don't I? Yeah, I do. This became viral with 247 reposts. This isn't a baby, but this is your Mood Bloom, which looks beautiful with the golden dandelions on
Oh,
top instead of the regular dandelions. But yeah, you had 247 reposts, 5.5 thousand hearts, and 52,000 views. That's insane.
yeah, that post did really well, and I mean, to be honest, because that was I did that on a whim. That was very much like because that was the day the golden dandelion was first presented to everyone,
Yeah.
and of course, there'd been a lot of talk in the community on how something like that could be implemented because people have wanted the feature of keeping mobs as babies for a while.
Okay.
And so, of course, they added a flower. And because a lot of the Minecraft community is still so in love with the Moo Bloom, immediately people were like, Moo Bloom? And
I
so
do love the mood bloom too. I do.
yeah, and
It looks
I
great.
sat down after work and I was like, okay, obviously this is something that some people might want to like see like some sort of visual concept. And so, of course, because I've been working on the earth animal stuff and making the baby versions for that pack for the next update, I already had all the stuff pulled up. So I just opened the Moo Bloom texture as well as the golden dandelion and started shifting colors to match it better
Nice.
and and put it on a model and posted it.
It looks beautiful. It does look good, man. Like,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that was again just a whim, and a lot of people have had different thoughts on whether or not that should have been the implementation. Which, despite posting it, my take is no. I don't think that should have been how the Moo Bloom gets added. But it was more of just like a fun like this is what could be because this is like this is the visual to a lot of what is on the community's mind.
and that is also going to be in the show description. So go check out that if you want to check out the gold dandelion mood bloom. It looks pretty. It looks cool, man. It really does, and I can see why it went viral. Because the mood bloom is very popular. I'd be damn surprised if Mojang didn't put that in.
Yeah, it's surprisingly, I think, especially like if you had said this back when that vote happened for whether or not the Moo Bloom would make it into the game, like
Hmm.
I don't think anyone would believe that in the future with like the next three mob votes plus like all the stuff that might have happened in the past with like the biome votes is that the Moo Bloom seems to be the one that is talked about the most still.
I think it has something to do with this color scheme and the flowers. Like honestly,
Yeah.
it looks fantastic.
It's cutesy and it's a very good like it's one of the things that Minecraft, especially old Minecraft, excelled at. Like when you think about like especially old passive mobs that are like fantasy style, like um like the mushroom
Hmm.
is iconic,
Yes,
and the Moo Bloom was
I
basically
love
the idea of
mushrooms.
that, but instead of mushrooms, which are mushrooms, are like flowers, and that
Yeah,
opens so and like not only is that just still a cool concept, but it opens so many doors if people are just like, oh, but what if instead of just the buttercups, it can have like blue flowers or purple flowers, and you have all these different
that would
colors
be
of color. Like
cool. And
it's
bees interact with them and stuff.
yeah, like it's so good for inspiration and it's not even like just that like the concept but for so long well I don't know if it wasn't really so long but for a while it was in players hands with Minecraft Earth and so people got so attached to these mobs because they were able to find them and then build like make builds and put them in there and so yeah I think just like stuff like that really helped it stick in the community's mind.
No, it's really neat. No, truly. And so, no, I love your description of how you describe your content, your creations. That you're just like, like bringing more nuances, making it more immersive, essentially, the entire Minecraft experiences. Is that
Yeah.
how is that a correct assumption of what you said?
Yeah, no, that is definitely correct. Is yeah, definitely with, adding those nuances and stuff. And part of that, as we've been talking about with the Moo Bloom and things from Minecraft Earth, is part of that is when you think about like Minecraft, most people think of like the base game, but it's also an entire universe that includes things like Minecraft Dungeons and, of course, Minecraft Earth. And you see all
Mhm.
this fun stuff that is part of that Minecraft universe, but then you're playing in your own part of that, and you can't see some of that, which feels kind of funny, especially if you're attached to it. Like with Minecraft Dungeons, which is very combat focused game and has a lot of stuff that's different. But in something like Minecraft Earth, people you still go and can fight mobs and build things and dig blocks, and so that and so but and so that was very, it's like ingrained with like how you experience vanilla. But a lot of that content just has never been seen again. What we've gotten from there is the glow squid, which I do like the glow squid. But and then I guess you can say mud, but mud can't was like very different in Minecraft Earth than it is in vanilla.
I wish we had that in vanilla, honestly. I love, like, seeing the muddy pigs, stuff like that, I think looks really neat.
Yeah,
Um,
there's so many cool ideas there, and I definitely understand why for a lot of it, especially the ones that are just like different textures of pigs. I can understand why that wouldn't be something that Mojang would be too worried about, especially now that there are some variants in the game.
yeah.
But there's also then like still some like great concepts, just like the muddy pig and the moo bloom.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta ask, what would be your most proud piece of work and why?
Mini blocks is my baby. Um,
Mini blocks. Gotcha. And I see that at the very top here with 92 followers on Modrinth.
yeah, so that is my biggest pack. And as I talked about in the previous episode, where
Wow.
there was about three different times I got into the creator community, that was that's the reason why there's a third time, which is where I'm at now.
Wow.
And
Okay.
because mini blocks is, and I can go on forever about the history of player heads in Minecraft. Um,
You and
I
Nightstick have a lot in common then.
I know he posts on there and he does a lot of textures and stuff like Minecraft Dungeons, and I've been
Uh-huh.
meaning to take a look. Um,
Gotcha. Do you
but
guys follow each other on X?
I believe so.
Okay, good.
I follow him. I
Good
am.
deal.
We're gonna leave it dubious for now whether or not he follows me back. I think he does, but
Gotcha. Gotcha.
um, but but yeah, like I can go on about the history of that and everything, but what it boils down to is, for those who might not know, in Java Edition, you can spawn in player heads that use other people's skins, or really just any skin texture that has ever been uploaded to Minecraft. And what
Wow.
that means is, based on how you design that skin, you can get some really interesting things that aren't meant to represent someone's head. And so, for the easiest example of this mini blocks pack, is these are all basically designed to look like the vanilla blocks in the game, but they're the
Nice.
size of a player head. So instead of being 16 by 16, they're 8 or 16 by 16 by 16. They're an eighth of the size. They're 8 by 8 by 8.
Nice.
And
That's cool.
so that just allows a lot of like things that you can do with building.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
there's some other things too, like when originally this finally became possible, which I was waiting for years to be able to finally make something like this. They also added the ability for like mob heads to produce sounds on a note block, and so a lot of
Ooh.
these the mini blocks I've created, actually all of them, have to some extent have different sounds that they do that with, which there's some things you can use that for. There's some things that might not be as useful, but it was something that is possible, and maybe some people can find some creative uses for.
That's really cool. So you can use these mini blocks and make music out of them.
Yeah, or it's like sound effects. So for example, if I'm a map creator, in which case there's a lot of other like tools for this, but maybe I'm trying to create a mini game or some sort of experience. There are things that I can then basically that like for sounds in the game that I can recreate using one of these. So if I want the sound of glass shattering or a TNT fuse, but without actually lighting TNT, or for example, actually in my new video for mini blocks, what I did at one point is I had a note block with a lava cauldron mini block on top of it. And by using like a skulk sensor, when you are in that area, which was a kitchen with a stove and a pot on top, it sounded like there was something bubbling in the pot.
No, so yeah, you can make it very immersive with associating those sounds with those mini blocks. That's amazing, like water
Yeah,
bubbling.
yeah. And then
So
there's fun things like using the smaller blocks just for decorations. There's like small versions of decorated pots. There's, you can just take, I guess, so many of the colored options and maybe put them on a tree to like simulate a Christmas tree.
oh
You can
cool.
use versions of like logs and put them on the sides of trees to make them look like thicker branches that come off of the tree that aren't a full block. Um, Stuff like that. There's chests and beehives that can look like crates. Like the possibilities of what you can do with this type of stuff is honestly pretty endless. And the community has used it for so long, but it's been mostly limited to having commands. And so I've been wanting to have a way that this would be obtainable in survival.
That's no, that's really neat. How do you get the sounds associated to or where do you find the sounds to do that? Like how's that work?
Yeah, so all of the like sounds in the game have different like uh, I guess labels of like how they are named in the files. And so when I'm like developing this and like I'm working on different mini blocks that are going to be in the pack, I basically just go to the Minecraft wiki and and they list out like sounds when you go to
Yeah.
the pages for blocks or items, which is another thing that's coming up. And so basically, I just go there and choose something that is related to what it would be associated with.
Nice. No, that's good to know. So I guess I asked you what your most proud piece of work was. Inversely, I'm going to have to ask you what's been your most challenging piece of work and why.
I'm pretty sure the answer is my oxidizing copper equipment pack. And this is a resource pack. Sorry, yeah, this is a resource pack that adds basically oxidation to copper tools
It's
and
so
to
cool. I
copper
love
armor,
that.
which is
We
yeah,
need that in the game.
yeah, I do think it's neat, and it's definitely something that the moment tools and armor were added for copper, people immediately were like, wait, but they don't oxidize, which would make sense. I do see some of the reasons why Mojang would not have implemented this, but
Why?
well, the two reasons I think come to mind right now is first that items don't currently work that way, and I don't think have the ability to.
Hmm.
So, for example, copper is just oxidizes randomly over time. That's not something that is really a property of items. And so, like in the pack, and the way that I've seen a lot of other people interpret this for similar resource packs, is to have it associated with the damage that the item is taken, which is
Oh,
close. It's like very close, and it gets the idea across, but it's not technically like 100% correct.
no.
And then the other reason is really just the colors, and it's because if you have like a copper pickaxe, as you wear it down and it gets to that like blue color,
Hmm.
for a lot of players that might be hard to distinguish from diamond.
Ah, that
and,
makes
and so
sense.
that then kind of becomes an issue with um, how does like how Mojang would want that to actually be implemented and reflected in game.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I could see it being somewhat confused with Diamond. I really
Yeah,
could.
yeah, and part of that was actually what made developing the pack like tricky, because I was developing it as the Copper Age drop was being worked on, and I was I was bouncing ideas a lot off of people to try and make sure that the each of like the states for all the tools and armor looked different from each other, but also would be hopefully recognizable as not being diamond, which is only so much that can be done with while trying to remain as faithful as possible to the colors and the palettes for the copper blocks that Minecraft has.
Hmm.
Um, I think I've done a pretty good job. I know that it's not perfect, but for someone that is interested in opting in to having that in their game, I'm sure that they're to an extent okay with the idea that maybe they might get misled at one point.
I'm looking at right now, and I think you did a great job. I don't think it's confusing at all. It looks very. It looks like copper.
Yeah, it does it does like look like, especially the armor. I tried to like add more like roughness
Yeah, the
to it.
sword might be the most confusing, maybe.
Yeah, I think the tools, because they have less space for detail,
Hmm.
especially while trying not to deviate from like what a pickaxe generally looks like in vanilla.
Hmm.
Um, and I think those tools are kind of where it gets the most tricky. But but yeah, and so that was a little bit of a challenge to try to find the right balance of that.
No, it's real. I like it. Um, yeah, nice work. And I've
Yeah,
also
thank you.
seen that you have 26 projects on Modrinth in total. Like some of the top ones, mini blocks, like you said, snowy leaves, smooth wood projects, oxidizing copper equipment, and then just it goes on and on. Where do you get inspiration for these? Is it the drops help inspire it, or is it just what you're feeling in at the moment? How do you get inspiration?
It's a lot of all of that. So, for example, the, oxidizing copper equipment was fully inspired by the idea that that was coming into the game. Like the moment that was in snapshots, I was like thinking about something like this.
Nice.
Similar for earth animals, as well as there's another one which is just one variant right now, but it's called clucking ducks, which adds
I
the
saw
duck
that.
that is in Minecraft dungeons. Because as some people don't know, there was cosmetic pets that they added that had a bunch of interesting random animals that we've never seen anywhere else in Minecraft, and one of those is a duck. But because it's like a chicken, um, I was able to, like, when Spring to Life came out, and they were and giving us on Java players all these different ways to like add variants for those mobs, like so we can add
Nice.
them ourselves. Um, I was like, I can start just adding anything to this, and so like I started with the Minecraft Earth animals, and then there was like I can have a duck.
That's cool. No, which I think we need in the game. I think it'd be awesome to have ducks.
Yeah, it'd be a fun. I think it shouldn't look as much like a chicken, but it would be a fun like addition to add, because they would probably spawn differently too. You would maybe see them more in water, and so
Yeah.
like rivers look maybe a little bit more alive.
Yeah, the sky would look a little bit alive if they actually flew up in the sky. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, but then to answer your question about like inspiration though, so yeah, there's stuff like that, and then again with like earth animals that came from Minecraft Earth, was a lot of it is being able to add that to vanilla. For a lot of these others, it really comes down to ideas I get from the community, and whether that's because it's like something I saw on YouTube, or like conversations that I see happen on Twitter. So I think like a good example of that is the actually well actually yeah, I'm gonna back a little bit. Like an example of that is tough copper golems, and that was basically is we had just gotten the copper golem, which was the mob vote loser that people had wanted to see in the game. And as all that conversation was happening and people were speculating, is there more of these mob vote losers that are going to come into the game.
Hmm.
And and what I like was thinking from those conversations is just like of what could be happening is the idea of like of just like the tough golem, which is also another golem that was a mob vote loser. And like I looked at the copper golem and I said, that could just be a tough golem if you just change the way it looks a bit.
Yeah.
And and so I was like, here we go. Is like maybe in this drop with this resource pack, you can get for 2-in-1 update. And so that was largely built using like Optifine or ETF, which is another mod like that just adds different tools to be used by like resource pack creators. And the idea was that is that you can rename a copper golem to tough golem, or and get like any of the colors of like the cloaks that they have. And yeah, it was just like, so if you really like the tough golem and want to have that too, it's now a option.
No, that's really neat. Has that been pretty popular?
That one has it's been somewhat popular. It's not like my biggest one, which is which is like fine because like it's there's definitely people that do like it, and I enjoy having it and enjoy making it. So like at the end of the day, like there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. As long as you like it, that's all that matters, really.
Yeah, like it has some amount of downloads, and there's people that are continuing to download it with each update. So like it is like I don't really have much of a too big of an issue on that. Like it was definitely still a fun project. Yeah.
So, kind of shifting out of your resource data packs and touching base on your YouTube. How long you been in YouTube? I know they use this to demonstrate your resource and data packs, right?
Yeah. So when I returned to the community for time number 3, which is going to be a lot more committed than it was previously.
The third refresh.
Yeah, well, so that I started YouTube because it kind of felt silly at this point, like not to in a sense, because I had, of course, done a bit of YouTube in the past, and with the second time that I was in the community, I thought maybe I would do that, but didn't. And because I rejoined because of mini blocks, is because the snapshots that added the possibility to basically make recipes for stuff like that. I was immediately ready, and I was like, the day has finally come after like years. It was at like I've been waiting to make this pack for at least 5 years. I actually tried to make it 5 years previously, and it wasn't possible.
Dang.
And I said at some point, Minecraft is going to have to get this ability. Like eventually, Mojang's going to add it, and whenever it happens, I'm gonna be ready. And so I waited, and eventually it was possible. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And so that sparked everything. But with stuff like that, and I was, figuring out like the brand and stuff, I was like, I might as well do YouTube too, because maybe I'll like getting back into it. Maybe I won't. But
Mhm.
the like this would be like the time to do it. And so yeah, I did that, and I was like, I will just show off my packs, and I'll just be like, extra material for like information on it, and we'll see what else I do from there. And so that's turned into more videos of me talking about certain topics. And there was one or two of me playing the things. One of them was the Craftmine April Fool's snapshot, and the
Oh,
other
nice.
was playing with some of my friends when Happy Guests came out. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and
Nice.
there's other topics, and the latest was basically a retrospective on everything that happened in 2025 for Minecraft.
Okay. Gotcha. So, if you were to say, how long does it take you to make a video from beginning to end on average?
It totally depends. There have
Mhm.
been times, especially when I'm like thinking about more of the modern videos that I've done, because my what I've been able to do in terms of like what like how I like the things I know how to use in terms
Mhm.
of like software and all of that has changed. I've gotten better at it, but it totally depends. There's times I have spit out videos in like a few days, And then for like this year in Minecraft, that was like a month and a half.
Dang. This year in Minecraft. Yeah, I saw that one. That's a 14-minute video. Yeah, it looked like you put in a lot of work in that video.
Yeah, especially because that was like unlike the previous video, which was talking about mini blocks. And I like put together builds and stuff to show in that. But like I was talking while I was recording like footage, and I was showing things, and it was a lot of it was about the pack. But then for something like this year in Minecraft, where it was, you know, I had to have notes on like everything that happened. So I had to do a bunch of extra research to make sure I was forgetting like as little as possible. And then I recorded audio separately, and I had to find like footage for like every single point that like came out of my mouth
Oh
and stuff like
gosh.
that. And so there was like syncing that and putting together the footage and captions and all of that stuff. And so yeah, that was a very different experience.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I bet that was. So what kind of tools and software do you use to make your videos?
For videos, I mean, it really just comes down to using OBS to record
Okay.
and DaVinci Resolve for editing.
That this must be popular. I've heard I believe Move Garcon was telling me, I think OBS. It was what he started
Yeah.
off on.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then you said DaVinci.
Yeah. Which is another one. Both of those I chose because I had heard of other Minecraft YouTubers using those tools. And I said, this seems like what I should be using, or at the very least, the place to start.
And you like it? You like those?
I do. I'm not like with OBS, like there is so much more they can do that I want to get more familiar with, because I can probably tweak some things and like improve the quality by, some
Mhm.
amount. And then with DaVinci is there's so much to it that I've probably barely scratched the surface of what's possible on there.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I'm not familiar with either of them, just from the guests I've had on the show in the past. But no, that's interesting. Um, is there like any software that you want to have, like that you would like to try out for videos? Like
Um,
flashback's something I've heard. I believe Randy
yes,
Bishop say.
the flashback mod is something that is so it's still so crazy to fathom that that's possible in Minecraft, that
Yeah,
someone
it's
built
so
that.
trippy.
Um, but yeah, so that's a thing that I haven't used, and I don't quite know right now where that would fit into like how I imagine a lot of videos. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of like, but it's powerful. It's really cool, and I'm sure at some point I'll have the perfect use case for it.
Nice. Well, I look forward to when you use that. So, what part of that process or making your videos for YouTube do you find the most challenging?
Um, I think I mean, so a lot of times it goes like really smoothly with like certain parts. I think the time that I get the most like maybe frustrated with that, and just like just trying to figure stuff out,
Mhm.
is with surprisingly audio, because I'm at, with a lot of things kind of a
Really, the
perfectionist.
audio.
Is like I can record the audio, but sometimes I just like looking at it, I'm just like the volume changes too much right there, and so I try to correct it, which is something that you, you can never finish that if your plan was to actually completely do that. And so I've been trying to like get like be more lax with that, because most of the time where I have been like focused on that and trying to fix it, it's probably not something that's actually noticeable.
Yeah, probably not. It's just something that you can hear, and probably nothing the audience can hear.
Yeah. And so like
That's
I
funny
think to me
though.
that's like the most like, you know, time that like I'm feel like I just need to like bang my head on a wall like doing videos.
What part of the process do you enjoy the most?
I don't know. And sometimes it depends on the project, or maybe just how long I've been working on it. Like
Mhm.
I've noticed like that I don't know why, but like I think for sometimes I've enjoyed just like working on like just putting captions in the video, and I think some of that is maybe because what I was doing previously like wasn't that interesting. I don't know, but also I like getting to the point where it starts coming together and I can throw in like music or
Hmm.
sound effects or transitions and try to like figure out like what can be part of the video other than the footage that I'm playing and me talking. And so sometimes that's like I'm talking about a certain thing and I want to like show up on the screen to some extent, like that. It like stuff like that.
No, that's understandable. No, that's understandable.
Yeah,
This
that,
is a
especially because
question.
like that's the moments generally is during that phase where it stops feeling like something that is like in early stages to kind of being able to see like this is where like the video is going and this is how it's going to feel when it's done. It's like that's the transition point.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I think there's like a phase like that with every artist, like in any medium. Like when I'm writing, sometimes like after I've edited it 100 times,
Hmm.
rewritten it. It's like okay, I think I'm finally starting to see the end, like the finality of what this is going to look like,
Yeah, it
type thing.
starts feeling like you actually like created like fully
Yeah,
created something as
yeah,
opposed to you're looking at something just like this is a bunch of
a
pieces.
smorgasbord of.
Hmm.
No, I get what you mean. Like an aberration of a whole bunch of stuff that you're trying to get together. Yeah, no.
Thumbnails also sometimes fun. It's sometimes I don't have like good ideas. I feel like for what the thumbnail should be, but sometimes I have like just fun like things like oh I can like t- do this and like have this be like the first thing you see when the video's in front of you.
Yeah, kind of like what you whipped up for me. I'm using for this video with your logo superimposed over the Realm News.
Yeah, yeah, that was in like the 10 minutes beforehand. I was just like, I want to post something.
I like that.
And so I just like grabbed like my two skins, like posed them and slapped them on.
No, that is cool. No. See, I get what you mean. Getting into that type of artwork, like just there's different aspects to video creation or just creation altogether. There's a bunch of different things you have to do.
Hmm.
But also, okay, so I mean, this is something that artists struggle with, and I know that I've struggled with it just writing or even podcasting. But how is it? When is it that you just when you decide that a project is finished? Like when do you know when to call it quits?
Um, I think that I think usually when I have the idea for like a pack,
Mhm.
I guess the same for a video, but like I know where it's going to like end up and like what I want to be part of it. So, it's easy to describe from a pack side is like for the oxidizing copper equipment stuff. The idea for that is all these tools and stuff that use copper are going to be able to have these oxidized states. And so like that was a very clear like endpoint. And then and even though like for some like mini blocks that continued to grow as like there was more blocks in the game that could be done to, or more blocks are added to the game, and so that was very like I think I in all the time since the snapshot that made it possible came out because I started like that day, like the first day it was possible. I was working on the pack, and so basically I just continued adding things to that until the update came out, and then I released it, and then I just kept updating it. So there's things like that too, where as long as like the idea is there and it meets the goal, then there's uh, there was a point where it's definitely like shareable as like what can be a full product.
That makes sense. Have you ever had to scrap or significantly rework a project?
I don't think there's anything that I've scrapped. There's things that I've thought I would work on like sooner and would maybe start, but then would get carried away with something else. Particularly like for example, so the next pack I'm releasing, which has been
Ooh, we
which
get
has
some
been part
insight.
of this has been part of the vision from the beginning. It's because it's another mini blocks pack, but it's for items instead of just blocks. And so
Oh,
that's
cool.
the apple on the table I kept referring to before. That's bowls and
Nice.
diamonds and books and all of that stuff. And so, like, I thought I was going to work on that so long ago, but then suddenly a snapshot comes out that adds like the copper golem and copper tools, and I get completely sidetracked. So there is stuff like that. I
Understandable.
don't think I've like fully scrapped anything, but in terms of like reworking the tough golem pack, I did have to rework within like the first few days, and that is because the that relied on Optifine or ETF, and basically, when those were updated to come out, what I found is the thing that was controlling that when you have a copper golem named like red tough golem, that you would see that texture, it wasn't happening for the statues, which I was
Oh,
really crossing my fingers that it would. And maybe that's since been updated, in which case I can, you know, add some stuff back to the pack. But because of how that worked, I'd set the pack up in a way where I was hoping that if you played with it without those mods, tough golems would still look like copper golems, but it wasn't working the way that I expected. And with the way those mods were, it just really wasn't feasible at that moment, which was unfortunate. So I reorganized some stuff in the pack so that it wouldn't try to change things for people that weren't using the mods.
okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, so that changed the vision a bit, which was unfortunate.
No, I mean, adapt, right?
Yeah, and like and the more important part was like I expected it to be used more with for people with those mods so that you weren't replacing the copper golem with a tough golem. But I thought like if someone isn't for some reason or just is choosing not to, that they would still be able to experience it to some extent. But unfortunately, that just didn't work out.
Gotcha. So, how important is if this makes sense, this question is staying vanilla friendly, or I guess do you try to stay within the realm of vanilla? Is that where you go for like when you design these things or your projects?
Yeah, so I mean, because I particularly play with a lot of the vanilla like style, and like I have a bunch of data packs, and I have personal ones too that haven't been released at least yet, um, and those have kind of need to be like fixed up a bit, but like that's largely how I play, and that's how most people play, and so like I want to be able to add to someone's experience without making it feel like they're playing a different game than everyone else is. And so like if one of the majority of my packs was suddenly just added to vanilla, which that'd be crazy. But
Yeah,
and
that'd
like
be awesome.
I work in like the space of resource packs where that's like entirely possible. Like that wouldn't actually be like that big of a surprise for some things, but like if that happened, I want it to feel natural and at home in the base game, in that it's not in that like the player base isn't confused on how it fits into like the default experience or how it just makes sense in the world. And so like sometimes there's small liberties that have to be taken to like get these visions to like be able to exist. Like for example, with the uh, copper tools oxidizing based off of durability, like sometimes there's like small things like that, or for mini blocks, uh you know everything sort of being the same size shows more with like the items in that version of the pack that's coming out. It might even be out by the time most of your listeners hear this, but like the apple, like for example, might feel kind of strangely big, but
Yeah.
but like not that that's like unheard of thing in Minecraft, but like stuff like that, there's of course going to be some liberties to like make that happen and be able to like give those experiences at all, but like the main idea should feel pretty natural in vanilla and in like how people think of that world.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I like that. Um, so what kind of community do you have? Like I've been looking here. Like you have a Reddit. You you're on something which I wanted to ask you about this too, but PMC planetminecraft.com.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And you have YouTube and you also have, let me see here, Discord. So, what kind of community are you striving to create with your Minecraft
yeah.
content?
Yeah, so one thing to quickly point out is that Reddit is mostly just where I put memes. Those
Oh,
end up in other places too, but I don't use that for that much.
okay, gotcha. You
Yeah,
don't? Dang, it looked
yeah.
like you do with the 19, almost 20,000 karma points.
Well, I've had a few posts that have gone viral
I
in,
guess.
in the past. A lot of those get posted in other places,
Dang.
um, but a lot of stuff like that gets a lot of like views on Reddit, so it happens. But in terms of like community, I mean, I for people that I would want to be like, surrounding like the projects and stuff, and I guess myself as a creator is just like obviously like I guess interested in what I'm doing, but more
Yeah.
so I guess like that love like the immersion of Minecraft and like and
Mhm.
in the universe, and just like wanting to see how that can be expanded upon while still keeping Minecraft like as we know it as vanilla Minecraft. But then also like for stuff that's not my packs and like I talk a lot of Minecraft and I generally like if I may say so myself, like I feel like I have a pretty good pulse on what is going on with like Mojang and like updates and like the community as a whole. And so like
Mhm.
I just like to talk about stuff and like float ideas and see what people are thinking and stuff like that. So really like just you know uh, somewhere where if someone is like interested in something or curious about like what's going on, like a reliable source for that
Mhm.
information.
I think you're a reliable source for information. You have a very neutral point of view when you make your opinions on things, which is really good, I think.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in the community on both sides as well that are very um, passionate, which is a good thing, but like sometimes like passionate
I've
about
been
like
guilty of
the
that too.
yeah, but also like sometimes it comes to like passionate about like the wrong things, like just wanting to like there's a lot of people that just seem to just hate Minecraft and but they still engage with it, which is weird. Um, and so like and like I try not and like there's a lot of like rumors and stuff that goes around of people jumping to conclusions and stuff like that, and I try to separate myself from that like as much as possible and only like and be try to be very clear with like what do we know and what do we not know, and try to like lay stuff out and get and give just like like if this is happening, like why might it be happening, like is there something that like is it really one of the reasons that people are arguing about, or is this a sign that there's actually something that we don't know
No,
that
you're
could be
right.
happening.
And the Minecraft community is very susceptible to biases and to hype.
Yeah, which I mean at times like especially if you follow the community is can be very annoying, but also like
It
it a
can
lot of
be.
times it is also the sign of being passionate about the game, so it's also hard to fault that sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's funny to watch too as an outside observer sometimes. It's like, man,
Yeah, my big thing was with the whole Firefly debacle that happened with
the
with what
leaks?
with Firefly. So, no, sorry, with what why they were not added in the wild update is I
Oh,
so
because they're
I is
poisonous frogs or because it killed frogs?
but that's what everyone was saying, and from the very start, I was very adamant that that was not the reason, and that like even though Mojang like kind of implied that in their video, like, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I think it was very clearly a communication error because people were because everyone was just like, why? Like, so it's like, why didn't you just make it that fireflies are not eaten by frogs? Problem
Yeah.
solved. But I was just like, do you really think so low of the people that work on the game that you think they don't know that? And it's like clearly that like they're like more or more likely there's something that that was communicated poorly or something that we're missing. So I was very
Mm.
adamant that like it's probably because the performance issues that people were worried about. And I think actually yesterday I saw something that Jeb had responded to that actually like made implied, and I guess they said this in the past and I forgot that
Mhm.
that was actually confirmed. And so I was right the
Really?
entire time that that like
Y
because I think that the like
Yeah,
the
can you clarify, like, the performance issues? Is that just because it's going to put more of a load on whatever the system you're using because of the graphics of the
well,
Firefly, or what?
well, when I think about the like how like Minecraft is like built, like
Mhm.
in originally fireflies were presented to be a mob, but
Yeah.
they looked and seemed to function a lot like particles. But the mob
Mhm.
part was probably how they interacted with frogs. And I remember back when this was originally shown to us and people were actually more negative toward the firefly because they were like it's only 2 pixels,
Yeah.
which completely reversed when it wasn't coming. But um there was a lot of people were just like, is this all these like particles and stuff, is this going to be like a problem for playing the game? And so that seems to be a concern for a bit. But when the requirements changed from to have frogs not eat fireflies, well, that changes everything because now fireflies don't need to be anything like a mob that has to be interacted with by another mob,
Yeah.
and and it wasn't needed for that. But they like I would assume, obviously we never saw this build of the game that was shown, but it's like I would assume that because they didn't need to do that anymore, like it did not make sense to leave fireflies in the game as they were because again possibly performance issues or and to but then if they're not a mob that you can interact with, then how do they just exist? They're just everywhere in a swamp. Because what if I built a house there? Are there fireflies in my house? like
Yeah.
like there's so many things that I can see ha- happening that need to be changed and reevaluated because frogs were no longer eating fireflies, to the point where I think they said it's best if we just rethink this. And so I that's my take that was my original take on what happened, and from what I've seen as of like yesterday, I think this is turns out to be what actually happened. But that's the type of like thinking that I try to like bring to like the Minecraft community.
No, we need that. We need more, non-biased, neutral, people to, to quell the hype.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like calling hype because a lot of times it's like to people that are not hyped for very much like this sucks. Like obviously
Yeah.
there's takes on the new drop if people are not that interested in it, which like I get because it's not the most engaging content. But then the question is just is what why do you think that this is happening? And just like what if this didn't happen, which is the mobs would continue looking like the weird deformed things that were created before the game had artists like stuff like that, which was iconic too. But it was also just like as we're approaching 20 years of Minecraft, if you're someone that is not familiar with the game that sees that, it kind of feels like someone like cut a corner.
Yeah,
you know,
it does. No,
you
you're
know
right. I'm not going to say the baby mobs wasn't necessary, but my gosh, I hope to God. Well, by the time this releases, this drop will be already over.
mhm.
But I'm just saying, future people out there, I hope that they added something. I Do you think they're going to add anything besides just babies?
I think it's entirely possible because we saw the craftable name tag at the start,
Yeah,
which is very small. It's still just a change. But then they added the golden dandelion,
which is the
which
coolest
lined
thing in
up,
my
which
opinion.
which I mean, which defends the existence of a lot of this, like a lot of the time that was spent on the baby mobs, but also that lined up with, I believe, Bedrock actually officially working on this drop and not
Hmm.
just like a bug fix update. And
Okay.
so I'm not as familiar with if things normally line up like that and if that's a way to predict when we're getting new features. But
Uh-huh.
the fact that that happened, and now that Bedrock is more fully focused on this drop, I would say, I think that definitely adds a lot of potential because as of like the time of recording, the drop is going to come out in still less, like just under 2 months. And,
Yeah.
a few weeks of that are going to be like pre-releases and release candidates, but there's still a good amount of time. So and
Mm.
clearly we were shown something that wasn't a baby mob in the latest snapshot and like to say like, hey, stuff like this is still on the table.
I'm personally hoping to see something more than just babies. Like,
I mean, that's completely fair.
but I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm mostly now looking forward to the what we get for the summer drop now
Hmm.
because I don't know, everybody's thinking that's going to be bigger, but I necessarily don't think it has to be.
I guess it doesn't have to be, but like from a marketing perspective, it would make sense that that summer drop is probably like the biggest. Like obviously, like the
Well,
normal Chase the Skies drop last year in itself wasn't that big, but
no.
vibrant visuals came along with it, and so like I think obviously we'll have to see when this year when we're not getting something like that tacked on of what it looks like.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know for as a marketing well, okay. Mojang's gone. Well, last year they were gone for Chase the Skies when it was released. They were on vacation.
Well, afterward,
Else like
like after develop,
directly afterward, like the next day almost after,
yeah,
like
but
because
like
all the bugs started coming out and no one was around to fix it, even their quote unquote emergency team.
yeah,
Like
I mean, there's definitely some issues with the rollout, particularly on Bedrock, as it unfortunately usually turns out to be.
yeah, and I'm not going to bash the Chase Skies. I mean, I like the Happy Yes now, but at first I thought I was like, man, you guys shouldn't be releasing this stuff with this many bugs. Like, it's a little bit unprofessional for a multi-billion-dollar company. But I was just thinking, like, man, for the beginning of the year after Christmas break, the devs coming back and all we're getting is babies. I'm sorry. I think the marketing department could have done a little better for that. It's a little bit lackluster for the very first thing of the year, in my opinion. Just
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah, and the marketing team also like they're the ones doing the marketing. I hope you don't hear the siren behind me.
I thought
But
that was me first. I was like, wait, is there something out here in the country?
nope,
I did.
it's consequence of not being in the country. But yeah, like the marketing team is, I mean, honestly doing what they're supposed to in terms of like throwing these baby animals everywhere.
Yeah.
But like in terms of the dev team, like we can infer that this has been being worked on for a while based off of like some of like the hints with like the rabbit spawn egg from last year matching the new rabbit model from this year. Like
Hmm.
there's hints that this has been planned for a while. And I mean, there's always going to be, something like why is this one not something or something else? But
Hmm.
like also like this is the strong benefit of the drop system, I would say, is that in the past you would have to wait a whole year if you weren't interested in the type of content that was
Oh
happening.
my gosh,
Yeah,
that would be horrible
but
if
yeah,
that's.
but now is it's a few months, and Mojang is able to do the honestly not incredibly like pretty on paper things of modernizing the game from what it
Yeah.
was like 15 years ago. Like they're able to do that and sort of justify that time because it's not because very like if it's not someone's cup of tea, in very short order there will be something with hopefully a completely different theme that maybe does interest a different side of the player base. But like the
Yeah.
thing that I have been thinking of recently for this drop when it comes to the baby mobs is the texture update from 1.14, because that did something similar but on a greater scale, which is they changed the textures of almost everything in the game. And
Hmm.
like, if that was an update to itself, I think a lot of people would have been justifiably underwhelmed. It's like the textures are great and all. It's I
Yeah.
think much better than what it used to be, even though I still some nostalgia. But at the same time, like people, I don't think would have liked if that was all that happened in during the amount of time in which they expected they would get something brand new to
Yeah.
play with.
We
but
want
I
s-
need,
we
yeah,
we
but
want
it needed
stuff
to
to
happen.
interact with.
Yeah, yeah, but also it needed to happen, and luckily, and with in that case, it was put a part of Village and Pillage, and so that added, like the new villager stuff and pillager
Yeah.
raids and
And
stuff like that.
that's what I'm saying though. I was like, why couldn't they have added the babies with something and complement like have the babies as a complimentary thing, to
Yeah,
something more. I don't know. I mean, I know I get it. I know a lot of content creators love this because it's going to boost their things they can do for their creations, but and people in the game want this. And but me,
yeah,
I just don't care because I literally don't interact with the babies at all. They're
yeah.
just background noise to me,
Yeah,
and that's
I
it.
yeah, like I get it. Like my what I've basically been describing myself as for in terms of this drop is that like I love the features. I'm glad they're doing it, but like the updates as a package is not the most
It's
engaging.
not. It's just so boring to me. I'm like, okay, let's just rip this off like a band-aid. If they have to do the baby thing as an entire drop, let's get this over with and move on to something fun.
Yeah,
Like,
and my theory is, and I've said this a few times on Twitter, and perhaps many listeners might already know if I'm right or wrong on this when this episode comes out. But I have been saying this, like if a lot of this drop has seemingly been focused on things that the arts team would be producing.
mhm,
So where are the gameplay developers? Where like because other than putting new models in game, and for the golden dandelion, and maybe if there's other items and stuff that are going to be added with this drop, like what, and then back end changes. Like what
mhm.
are the people that generally work on the gameplay experience, in terms of like adding new things and all that? What are they doing? What are they working on right now? I very curious, and there could be
Yeah.
something I that they're clearly working on that is not incredibly just visible right now, which is like fine, but also there could be maybe something big coming. Who's to say?
Who's to say? I mean, gosh, yeah, who's to say? I don't think it's going to be a combat update. I can
I
say I can
I
tell you this.
don't
Sorry, Michael.
there's a particular green cat on Twitter who I think would be very upset by that.
Sorry, Michael. Yeah, I'm sorry I said that, but I don't know. My feelings are I don't think that's going to be in the works this year. But who knows? You know me though. I'm hoping for some food, man. I want to see some like I want to eat some new stuff. That brings me to my like one of my final questions. What what is like a feature that you could add to Minecraft or a system that you could add to Minecraft? What would it be?
Oh no, just it's like the update question. It was like I don't have a good answer, and it's actually not because of like just choosing one thing. It I don't know how to explain like why I'm like this, but like there's not many things that come to mind, and I think
Huh.
maybe it's just that over the years I've grown so accustomed to like Mojang's and continue adding things, and like having enjoyed how the game has evolved
Mhm.
like so far to the point that I've maybe kind of just like left a lot of things at their hands. Like there's a lot of small tweaks to things that like come to mind at times. Like I actually posted something on Twitter today about like petting dogs, and stuff
Yeah.
like very small things like perfect like things that are already there. But in terms of like something completely new, not much comes to mind. The things that I feel like I'm more about is is when Mojang opens the game a little bit more to be accessed through like data packs. And so like an easy one is like last year they did not add sheep variants
Mhm.
for and Spring to Life,
Yeah.
but also unlike the mobs that did get variants, they did not make it so that creators can leverage stuff like that for sheep, which was annoying
Gotcha.
because I was like, I can understand if you're not going to spend time doing this right now, but I want to.
Yeah.
It's because like stuff like that, like because Mojang can only do so much, like like ever like that's just reality.
Yeah.
Which and I understand that, but like the more they open the game for creators, the more it allows other people to still add to that experience in the way that some people in the community might want to see.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. And if I recall right, that was a whole thing last year about the sheep variants not coming.
Yeah, and I think I think I actually predicted once again that they weren't going to do sheep because of colored wool.
Yeah, I think I remember you do. Yeah,
Which
you did call that.
it wasn't a happy like prediction. I was just like I was like I don't know, but like I can imagine that this is a viewpoint that someone at Mojang might have. And of course, so they did that with like the wildly colored sheep, which the community did not like,
Yeah.
which is like unfortunate. But then obviously at that point in the process, they probably couldn't like go back and be like, okay, let's just do sheep variants as like everything else has. And so maybe one day they'll get back around to it. But I was just like I was like I understand how we got to this point, but why can't you at least let me do it? Like and let other people and let other creators do it.
Fair enough. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
So, what are your goals for Mint Refresh? Where do you foresee it 5 years from now? Where do you want to be? I should ask.
Oh my god, 5 years from now is such like a crazy thought because a like every time just thinking into the future it's just, it and in terms of Minecraft it's just like the idea is like yeah I guess at this point like it's probably still going to be around.
It will.
um
I have a well. Don't they have a 50-year plan?
so I believe they've said.
Yeah, I think they did. Like last year, came out with some 50-year plan. It's like
Yeah,
it's
like
not going anywhere, man. This is Coca-Cola of the gaming industry.
yeah, so like and then also just like I feel like of me going back and forth in the community like I'm definitely expecting to stick around this time.
You've been around for 14 years.
Yeah, I meant more of like the in terms of just like creating things and being like active and talkative.
Yeah,
But
gotcha.
yeah, like I I mean I just, a lot of continuing what I'm doing is still continuing to like expand like possible experiences in Minecraft, add things from like across the Minecraft universe into vanilla so that we can all like continue enjoying those experiences. Um, with YouTube, there's still stuff like that. Like I focus now a lot on packs, but I think I'm gonna do a lot more with just like talking about certain things and trying to like contribute, different thoughts and ideas that then are, you know, going commonly around the community, and probably some like every once in a while maybe I'll actually get into playing. That like I always think like I haven't done much of like doing videos of me playing the game, but and as my life continues and I have a little bit more like bandwidth for stuff like that than like my current setup, maybe I'll get
Mhm.
into something like that, like streaming. But
That'd be cool.
just a lot of just continuing to be like, enjoying talking to people in the community and seeing ideas and trying to like work off of those ideas and yeah.
That's awesome. I enjoy that you are part of the community. I think you have great insights and ideas, and I love seeing all the things that you've been creating and adding to the Minecraft universe is really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, what does Minecraft mean to you personally?
I That's such a good question because it's just one of those things you think after like 13 years I'd have this unlock. Um, but I mean, it's it's a game that you can stay engaged with for 13 years because it has no limits between like
Mhm.
between I think the two episodes we were talking about the idea of people using like Minecraft to like help like design a public area.
Yeah.
Like there's so much things you can do, and while that's not like really like my line of work, like I can always think of just like how I can play the game in a different way or expand the game in a different way. Like it's such a expansive universe with such a passionate community that continues creating based off of that and expanding in other ways with like mods and storytelling and stuff. Like it's become like a medium that can be used for almost anything. And then one thing which actually started getting me thinking about getting back into the community before mini blocks made me do it was one of my best friends that I've known since middle school. She moved from where I'm at in the U.S. to Argentina,
Oh wow.
at like basically permanently for the foreseeable
Dang.
future. And like the idea of that happening was one of the things that made me start thinking about the idea of just like, but like she still plays Minecraft, and like
Okay.
and like doing that and playing together on a realm and all of that, and like that's still neat because like even like yesterday we were talking on Discord, just on her realm, and like
Mm.
stuff like that as like life goes on and things change, but some of those things could still end up getting like tied together because of Minecraft is pretty pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Like I 100% know what you mean. My brother lives in a different state, but Minecraft is like a third space for us to meet where we can, hang out and stuff. And so I totally relate with that. No, that's really neat. I think that's awesome. Um
but, but
so
yeah,
where can people find and support your work again?
yeah, so definitely there's a couple of places out there. The YouTube, I'm at MintRefresh. um, if for my packs, the resource packs, data packs, that's on Planet Minecraft and Modrinth, both under Mint Refresh. And then if you're interested in just hearing me make noise otherwise, you can go to Twitter at mintrefresh_MC. And then I post a lot of the same things. Conversations might be different, but on Blue Sky, which is at MintRefresh. And yeah, and then there's a few other places that might come up, and but those all accessible through my link tree, which you can find in any of those places.
Awesome. No, go check it out, folks. It's all going to be in the show description for you to peruse and click on to your content. Um, Mint Refresh, it was great to have you on. You're always welcome to come back to Realm News if you'd like to come back on and for a future episode.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. This has been fun, just being able to talk about stuff like this, because like even though on Twitter and Blue Sky and stuff, sometimes it doesn't feel like you get to really just chat about stuff that's going on.
No, you know you're right. It's good to just like vocalize it sometimes the game, and this game like you said is like it's just it can be used in so many different ways, but at the same time it can be talked about literally forever. You can never run out of things to talk about when it comes to Minecraft. I've learned as a podcaster.
Yeah, if Minecraft stopped updating tomorrow, like I don't think you would notice that much, like too much difference
No.
in like the general community for a long time. Like so much of like just YouTube and the things that people are putting together, like they don't like they don't require like Minecraft to continue being developed in order to
No.
like keep coming up with new ideas and like entertaining things to like do.
No, it doesn't, honestly. Like, if it quit right now, like, my show could go on till the day I died. Like, I could still just keep producing podcast episodes over every item, honestly,
Mhm.
of the game.
Yeah, and then, of course, things that people are doing in the community.
Yeah,
Like there's so much. I mean,
like the
the
Kurt J. Max of the
I,
world,
I was
and
just going to say that
yeah.
because that was exactly what I was about to say. Was that it's like even like people can be bringing attention to parts of like the game that have existed for 15 years and don't
Yeah,
even exist in the game anymore, like the
just
Farlands.
I love that. See, that's why I keep doing this podcast because of people like him and you and all the other guests I get on here just doing amazing things with the game. It just blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. Honestly, it blows my mind.
Yeah, it can really continue forever.
So yeah, we'll have to get you back on the show.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm open to it. And of course, you know how to reach me.
I do. Mint Refresh, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, me as well. So thank you for having me on once again, and I look forward to being on again in the future.
And with that said, folks, Thanks again for coming on to Realm News. I look forward to seeing your future works that you post and having you back on the show. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And for my audience, I wish you a great rest of your day as well, and happy crafting. It's been a pleasure being your host, the Dark Lord, signing out. Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or Good Pods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/Realm News. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper tier for early episodes, bonus content, and newsletters. Find out more at bio.link/Realm News. No pressure though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.